So this video is going to have a look at the This Girl Can advert, and we're going to break it down and annotate it so that we can pick out its key features. Remember, even though I'm annotating this from scratch and I've got a blank copy of the image in front of me, there's nothing to stop you guys going through your own annotations and adding in anything that you think is important. All of the annotations today have been taken not only from what I've spotted within the advert, but also from the fact sheets that are available on the Educast website, which you can access yourselves, and I'll put a link to in the description box below. So we start off then with the logos for the two supporting charities, which are included in the top left of the frame. So we've got Sport England and the National Lottery. These provide synergy between the causes, not only between Sport England and the lottery, but also through Sport England and This Girl Can, and the lottery and This Girl Can as well. So all of those different companies working together for mutual benefit and mutual gain. We've got selective focus being used as part of the main shot, so this makes the central female, the protagonist, more important. However, we can still see the others in the background, and they are identifiable as women, which helps to anchor the fact that they are in a fitness class, and this is not just a singular woman sort of being staged or posed in any way. Now, the logo that we've got at the bottom is brand recognition, but it's really quite simple. It's very minimal, which is unusual for advertisements, and we'll find out a little bit more about that later on. Now, the indirect mode of address that this lady is showing us here suggests that there's some sort of mystery. We want to know why she's not looking at us. What is she looking at instead? Why has she got her eyes closed? And this helps us to engage within this particular advertisement, unlike direct mode of address, where that connection is sort of instant by looking eye to eye. She takes up the majority of the foreground, so that means that she's not only placed in sort of the majority of the thirds of the page, but also on crash points as well, so that draws our attention to her. And she's the protagonist of the advert because she's clearly the main character. But given that she's the protagonist, we could consider her to be the hero of the narrative if we were looking at this under props theory. Now, the high key lighting that we've got on her face matches the facial expression of her because she's having fun, but the majority of this advert is featured or is using low key lighting, so we've got a specific focus here shown by the lighting itself. Now, the typography that we've got here is a sort of contrast because serif usually connotes formality. It normally tells us that this is a very high class or sophisticated production, whereas here it's used as a bold statement and contrasts to what we've got going on, which is a lady who's obviously not very formal at this point. The overlapping of the text itself takes away any sexual representation, so although we're reading that text and it's positioned across this woman's chest, the fact that we're reading rather than staring takes away any sexualized representation, which is something you'd normally expect to find within women or female who are promoting sport in some way, shape or form. Now, the language that we've got here, so not only the logo, the slogan, all sort of connotes determination. So if we're looking in particular at the logo at the moment, This Girl Can shifts this belief in society that women can't do sport, and also sort of is a empowering statement to promote women and help women be healthier and encourage them to succeed. Now, the overall purpose of the advert is to sort of create this sense of social cohesion, people working together, women coming together and helping each other to be healthy, fit and active. And going back to the language slightly, we've obviously mentioned the fact that it takes away this sexualised representation and that it shows this determination, but it's also colloquial, it's slang, it's not very formal. And this uses similes, well-known similes, to sort of satirise and make fun of how women are normally represented in sport. This in itself provides a sense of female empowerment because by subverting the idea that it's unladylike to sweat, it encourages us to want to do it. So it helps to promote the overall aim of this poster and this campaign. Now, going on to that sort of idea of the campaign, the ideology here is to challenge stereotypes, encouraging women to get involved in sport, making them feel more confident and powerful, and not having them worry about the way that they look or the way that their bodies are. Now, one of the ways that they do that is through this large image of the female model, and she's designed to represent the primary demographic, who are females aged 25 to 40. They're likely to be C1 to D on the ACORN or ABC1 system, and they're also likely to be aspirers. The reason that they're going to be sort of middling on the ABC1 scale is because if you have more disposable income, then you are more able to spend that disposable income on things like going to a gym or training or eating well. So we're targeting that, or they're targeting that group of sort of people who haven't quite got the level of disposable income to do that for themselves. And obviously they're going to be aspirers because they want to aspire to be like the women within this advert, and perhaps also aspire to be a little bit fitter and a little bit healthier as well. Now finally, we've got the hashtag, which we've got underneath those two logos for the charities in the top corner. This gives us some convergent media. So we've got media being used across different platforms, suggesting that this is part of a larger campaign, and it also allows us to get in touch and be part of the conversation as well. So again, breaking this down into our key concepts, which is something that's really important that you guys should be looking at doing with your own notes, because remember, this advert can come up at any point on component 1 for any one of these particular key concepts. The language shows a more modern advertisement, so it's designed to raise awareness of females in sport, tackle the growing issue of obesity within the UK. And although we've got these high well-known partners of Sport England and the National Lottery, they're smaller, making it less of a focus, less about the charities, and more about the actual campaign itself. The woman within the centre of the frame is desexualised, so normally women are stereotyped as thin, beautiful and athletic, so we're breaking down these stereotypes, subverting what's expected so that we get a more realistic representation of women, and it encourages more women to then take part. Now, the campaign itself was designed in 2015, so it's quite a recent and modern campaign, and it's designed to close the gap between men and women in sport. The campaign had a lot of cross-platform marketing using things like the hashtag. We've got traditional media, new media being used, and if you haven't had a look at the types of advertisement video where I go through this, I'll try and put a little ident card up in the top corner, and I'll also put it in the description box below. So it encouraged the demographic to get involved, even if they weren't perhaps ready to take that step into becoming fitter. And the two main creators of the campaign are non-profit, so again showing that they're making little to no profit from this, although in that video on types of advertising there were t-shirts available, so yeah, that might need a little bit more looking into. Predominantly non-profit though. So our audience, primary demographic, 25 to 40-year-old females, C1 to D, who are aspirers. And our secondary demographic, perhaps those who are a little bit younger, a little bit older, and we're going to go to either end of that ABC1 scale as well. They may be strugglers, they may be people who really don't have any disposable income whatsoever and who are living on the breadline, or perhaps reformers who want to get on board this campaign for social change. Now, the main protagonist is a more realistic representation of women in general. She's got a tagline which aims to subvert the idea that women in sport are always thin and attractive. And we've got selective focus used to show that women in the background are varying ages and sizes, so really encompassing all women here. So we've got a lot of key terms for this video. Again, what's really useful with these key terms is to go through them. Any that you don't understand, pick them out, make a little note card, or add a little note to your own annotations so that you know that this is something new that you're learning. And if you are unsure about what any of these mean, please pop me a comment down below in the comment section, or get in touch with me through Twitter at media_revision. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the button down below and click the little bell icon next to it to get instant notifications every time I post a new video, and I will see you guys later for the next video.